Alrighty, there we go. Okay, finally, good evening everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. Welcome to everyone who's tuned into our live stream around the country. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending about 45 minutes with you. We're going to go through what our business is all about, what the opportunity is all about, who we are, a little bit of background on us. And then afterwards, you're very welcome to come chat to me, ask me any questions that you might have. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company. We've been operating very successfully in the insurance space for almost 70 years. We were founded in 1952. You probably don't recognize the brand because Constantia have never dealt with consumers. They've been always a B2B business. They've only dealt with typical financial service providers, but for the first time through DuePoint are we now directing ourselves towards consumers. So you'll become a lot more familiar with this brand. The financial service provider license number is that one that you see over there. That's very important. Credibility is something we take very seriously here at DuePoint, especially since it might be a brand that you've never heard of. So you'll see all our FSB licenses on display in the foyer above the water cooler. All those little certificates on the wall, go take a look at those. Those are also available on our website. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license, our FSP license, and an investment license. All right. The managers and executives here are these people up on screen, starting with the three boring chartered accountants on the far left. So Brendan Benfield is the senior executive here. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his father is so experienced in insurance. His father started Clientele Life, which is probably one of the biggest long-term insurers in the country. His father started the IFA. They have businesses in Europe that they've started very similar to the ones here. Brendan and his brother Stuart followed in their father's footsteps, also got involved in insurance, and together they founded a business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD. And PMD is about 9 years old now, I think, and they're the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country. So they are very effective at what they do. We're very lucky to have this financial pedigree in Mr. Benfield heading up this division. Tim and Stacey, they look after typical accounting requirements in our business, the auditing requirements, a lot of the financial regulatory aspects of our business, all fairly important stuff. And then myself and Jane, we're the two non-accountants. Jane is very experienced in referral marketing, direct sales. She's from the UK. She's been doing those things for a very long time, and her experience is very important to us as a business because we are an insurance company. But the marketing model that we've adopted is one of referral network marketing, and so Jane's experience is very important to us. Then myself, I've been working in advertising, design, branding for about 25 years. I ran my own digital agency for about 15 of those years, and we also operated very much in the financial space, did a lot of work with the big banks. So that's our senior team. We've got obviously client service staff. Carol's here this evening with me, some admin staff, but the mandate of people that work at DuePoint is to support everybody that just decides to join us and collaborate with us. We want to see you being effective in this business. You'll see what the proposition is all about, but we want to see you being effective. We want to see you being profitable as much as you want to see yourself being profitable in this business. And ultimately, we want people in this business just to be happier, because that's really, profitability is the means to the end, isn't it? So know that you're never alone when you join this business. We put all the support in place to see you succeed here. So very quickly, the debt slide, we pretty much discussed the economy, but I'm sure if you've turned on the radio or listened to any news or read a newspaper and you know all about the economy, it places a lot of risk on us, especially if we are only dependent on the work environment, the traditional work environment. Having a single stream of income that already poses lots of risk, just from the statistics that we get. In the old days, you could depend on a single stream of income and employment and work at the same company for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, but those days are pretty much over. Also, the state of the economy, in the fact that the cost of living is rising so much more than what our salaries are. So if we look at the last 7 years, inflation's been sitting at an average of just under 4.5%. The average salary has been increasing by about 2% per year. So you see that happening year on year on year. You suddenly find yourself in a position 7 years later where you're wondering why you can't afford petrol or groceries, or let alone putting money away into savings and investment products, because all of that comes together and it comes to a head when you get to retirement, because retirement is supposed to be a pretty rosy place. where you go to retire at the sea perhaps and all your financial troubles are solved. But for about 97% of South Africans, that's not the case. Majority of us will get to retirement financially dependent. We will be forced to look for jobs. We will be forced to depend on children, family members, friends to help us just get through month to month. And so what our business is about mitigating that risk, and that is through the opportunity that we're about to discuss. So 2.5 years ago, Constantia launched this division called DuePoint. We launched the DuePoint system in particular, and our business has a number of aspirations. So if you want to understand what our business is about, this really is the slide that kind of encompasses the ethos here at DuePoint, and we are all about wealth creation. Now, wealth creation separates itself from income generation, right? You might have been told we have an income opportunity for you, but it goes a step further to wealth generation. You can have someone living in this very auspicious suburb, Bryanston, earning 200,000 Rand a month in income, but they might not be wealthy because they bought a car that they can't afford, they've had to finance. They bought a house that they can't afford, that they've had to finance, and they're actually more indebted than what they are wealthy. So income generation and wealth aren't similarly, you can't tie them together necessarily. So when I say our business is about wealth generation, one of the biggest aspirations we have for people is to empower themselves to get rid of their debt as quickly as possible. Because what that does for you is it firstly empowers you to get rid, to start building asset finance. So we create wealth through the ownership of assets. Those assets can take on any form. What you're going to be building here at DuePoint is one asset, but if you're in a position where you're able to buy property and whatever else, collecting assets leads to wealth, right? So first aspiration, get rid of debt, then start working on purchasing assets, and that ultimately leads hopefully to a happier life. And that's what our business is about. So how does this business actually work? Well, as a guest, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint this evening. Once you join us, we refer to you as wealth engineers. So that's what everyone's referred to here at DuePoint, wealth engineers. And as a wealth engineer, you've got a single task, and that is to go out and just connect people to DuePoint. What you're going to be doing is building what we call a channel of distribution. I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like, but it's basically you going and connecting people to our business. We depend on you to spread our brand through South Africa, and I'll touch on that a little bit later again. If you're successful in that process, if you can refer people to DuePoint that ultimately become wealth engineers and product owners, that success in the process leads to a host of benefits. So primarily, one, you get to create an income stream for yourself. The nature of the income is recurring income. Right? So this is something that's actually inherent to insurance companies. Not a lot of businesses create recurring income. Some people refer to it as passive income. You might hear people calling it annuity income. It's all the same thing. To dumb it down, my father explained it to me when I was very young. He said it's the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Right? I had no idea what he was talking about, but I learned the lesson when I started running my own business. So we weren't a massive business as an agency. We were maybe at one stage 15 people in the business. And what I realized after 10 years was that I was going to be slaving in this business for the rest of my life, because never did we get to create true asset value in our business. We were chasing numbers every month, and some months we had terrific months, but we never got to the point where I could walk away from the business and there was asset value in that business. And that's what kind of unfolded for me with regards to my father's words. Get into business that makes money while you're sleeping, right? We are all involved as employees, involved in active income. If you don't go to work next month, you're not getting a salary, right? If you start building assets that produce income, well, then it doesn't matter if you're around next month. As long as the asset is around next month, you'll get paid, right? And our business creates recurring income through this channel of distribution that you build. We harness the power of duplication, so you have an opportunity of leverage. Leverage is almost like duplicating yourself. If you are able to go out and find effective, resourceful people that will help you build your channel of distribution, that is you leveraging yourself. So for example, if you found 10 other people investing the same amount of time you're doing in DuePoint, you've pretty much just leveraged yourself by a multiple of 10. Your recurring income can increase by a multiple of 10, and the size of your channel can increase by a multiple of 10. Our business is also flexi-time. So the technology that we've put in place, we are very much a forward-thinking, technology-based business. Everything is in the cloud, so to speak, here at DuePoint, and that allows you the opportunity to build your channel regardless of the time of the day or where you are. We don't have printed anything. Everything runs off a mobile app or the website, and it allows you to build your channel regardless of those constraints. We don't have any startup capital, so we've designed this business to be as low risk as possible. I don't want you to have to consider this opportunity this evening worrying about the risk involved. If I said to you this business to get in will cost you 50,000 Rand, non-refundable deposit, how many of you would still be here? None, right? We want you to consider the business without any worry, right? I want you to at least try the business knowing that you've got nothing to lose. And so we don't have registration fees or starter kits or boxes of product that you have to invest in. We've designed it to have a low barrier to entry. At the same time, there are no qualifications or experience requirements. This very much is the antithesis of the work environment, right? When you go look for a job, they want your CV, your experience. They might even check out your Facebook page, right? They want to know everything about you to make sure they're making the right choice. And then you are dictated to with regards to what job you can have, what salary you're going to earn, and what your life looks like for the next 40 years. In this business, it is equal opportunity for everybody. The only thing we worry about is work ethic, right? Unfortunately, in the real world, it doesn't matter how hard you work. You can have a coal miner. It's probably the hardest working person. Do you think he earns the most? Probably earns the least. Right? Here, hard work counts. You get to build an asset that you have ownership over. So this is very important. You have legal tender over the channel of distribution that you're building. So this has significant benefits. One of them, because you're building an asset that is paying out your recurring income, an asset that you own, it's not going to retire you. You don't have to worry about getting to 60 that your income is suddenly going to end at DuePoint. Right? Because you've built this asset that is paying out your recurring income. It'll pay you through your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s, your 100s. When you die at 107, the asset doesn't disappear. You get to seed that asset in your will to your beneficiaries. You can leave it to the next generation. Where very few South Africans actually leave wealth to the next generation, that's something you can look forward to. So I'm hoping that you'll be happy to sacrifice time building this channel, knowing that you have full ownership over it. There's no selling involved in our business, so we actually exclude you from any selling process, marketing, anything to do with our products. You don't have to do anything with regards to our products. That is my job. Our website's job, YouTube's job, where we've got our information regarding the products. What you're going to be focused on is going out and building a channel of distribution by connecting people to the business opportunity, not the products. Our business is very much split in half. On the Constantia side, we've got our financial products, and then on the DuePoint side, we've got the business opportunity, and that's what you're going to be focused around. That's what you're going to be telling people about. At the same time, that is beneficial because it's probably the number one commodity that exists in South Africa today is income opportunity. That's what most people are looking for. It's what most people will be interested in. Because our products are financial, means we don't have stock and distribution issues. So again, we try and make the business as convenient to do as possible. So very quickly, to take a look at what a channel of distribution looks like, it begins with you. You are going to become a wealth engineer and a product owner here at DuePoint. And once that happens, you will now start becoming focused on building this channel of distribution by connecting other individuals to the business. And so you might, in this case, we've got 5 people that connected successfully into the business. They became wealth engineers and product owners. You might have spoken to 10 to get 5 to come in, right? There's a ratio that exists there. But from that point on, your channel will take on a life of its own, whether you like it or not. Because the 5 individuals you introduce to the business are going to build their own respective channels. In turn, they're building your channel. And that's where that power duplication or the leverage comes into it. And not all of them will build, so you can see there that person didn't do anything. Everyone will build differently. Some people will let you down, but nonetheless, your channel will grow. And if you give your channel time, it will start to look something like this. Right, so we've got endless examples of people that have come into the business, started channels, and have even left, and their channels have carried on growing. We've got people that joined us 2.5 years ago. Their channels are close to 10,000 people, but they left after 3 months, and they're not even aware of the channel that's being building in the background, unbeknown to them. So we'll always say our business is always about time and numbers. You have to take care of the numbers, i.e. connect people. God will take care of time. Time will take care of time. You can't manipulate it. You just have to be patient and let it happen. But be discerning at in this process here where you connect people. Because if you bring weak, under-resourced people into the business, they might need the business, but they might not be good for your business. Because if you bring people that don't have the resources to thrive as wealth engineers, right, they become a burden. They ask you for airtime. They ask you for a lift. They ask you for this. They ask you for that. They don't have an email address. They don't know how to use the internet. Bring strong people in at the beginning of your business. I often compare you to a CEO or an MD. You're building your board of directors. You don't go into the street and let anyone become a board of directors or one of your executives. Go hand-pick people, strong people, right? It'll be beneficial to the rest of your channel because that same behavior filters into the rest of your business. My wish is for wealth engineers, after doing this for a few years, it might be 4 or 5 years, that you can walk away from this business. You don't have to nurse it month to month. Right? And that is going to be very dependent on your behavior at the beginning when you're building it. So that's what a channel of distribution looks like. Very quickly, I hope no one, well, I guess a bit of a false hope, but you might have arrived thinking you've been invited to some scheme of sorts, right? When the person came to speak to you, you probably gave them a bit of a skiff and said, what's this all about? I don't trust you. Tell me what it's about. And they said, no, don't ask me any questions. Just come to the presentation. So I hope at the beginning of the presentation we allayed a lot of your fear, right? We're a very legitimate business. We've been around for nearly 70 years. We've got very boring insurers and chartered accountants working for us, but people with reputation. This is an authentic entrepreneurial opportunity that we're extending to the public. And I'll touch on why we've done that and what the difference is between us and typical other businesses like the one down the road, PMD. And at the same time, I hope you haven't imagined that you can become wealthy quickly. We have a lot of people, they think they can become wealthy overnight. They think if they just work smartly, they're going to become rich by the end of the year. It doesn't exist in any aspect of life. It just doesn't. Right? It requires time, persistence, and endurance. And that's why we've got the picture of the ballerina's feet, because it's a great analogy. Right? We romanticize entrepreneurship. It's easy to look at a successful entrepreneur and wish that you had what they had, right? But if you just take a layer away, you will realize what it takes to become successful, to become a professional, right? And it's no different in this business, okay? So no one's left yet, we can carry on. All right, so we've got 4 products here at DuePoint. I'm going to go over them. They are very straightforward products. Like I said, there's more information on our website if you want to delve into that. Our first product is Access Wealth. It is an investment product. And by the way, all our products are designed around wealth in mind. We don't have these arbitrary products. They're designed to either create investment or protect your assets or lower your income, lower your cost of living every month. So the first one is the investment. It's Access Wealth. It's going to cost you 324 Rand a month. 100 Rand goes into a tax-free investment fund every month, and on top of that you get 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover with this investment. So the personal accident cover covers you in the event of death through accident. And the investment has full access to that investment. So there's no notice that you have to give. There's no 60, 90, 120-day notice on this product. So straightforward investment, 324 Rand a month. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is 249 Rand a month. This is only insurance. It is only personal accident cover, but you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover with this product. The beauty of our personal accident cover products is that it is accessible to almost everybody. So anyone over the age of 18 can take out this product. Regardless of age, regardless of your health status, the premium remains the same and the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. Okay? The third product is called Family Wealth. Family Wealth is our new funeral cover product. It starts at 299 Rand a month. You get 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover for that. We cover up to 5 family members. You also get 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So we pay out up to 10,000 Rand if you owe anyone money upon your death. And there are no excluded pre-existing conditions. So this is not personal accident cover only. You can die from illness, natural causes. Doesn't matter what you die from. We'll pay out 20,000 Rand. You can bump that cover up to 30,000 Rand, and you can also increase it from 5 to 10 family members. So there's a bit of flexibility in that product. So this is the funeral cover from 299. Then lastly, you've got Wealth Points. Wealth Points is designed to lower your cost of living. So think about all the things that you spend your money on every single month. We've gone to a number of businesses and negotiated discounts with them. So for the $2.99, you get to share in the discounts. So we've got a data partner in Always On Wi-Fi data. They've got up to 67% off some of their products. ShopRite Check is about 2.5% off your entire trolley as often as you shop there. We've got a number of other online retailers. We've got car manufacturers. We've got people in the health and beauty industry. The entertainer provides half price at hotels, restaurants, and live events. And we're adding to this partner all the time. So we're working on our next partner, which should be very exciting, a telecoms company. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, Wealth Points is a great product to have. All right, so those are the 4 products. As I said, more info on our website or speak to me afterwards. What separates us, or what's the difference between us and typical financial service providers? It's in the fact that we actually don't spend any money on marketing and advertising. That's where we depend on you. So typical insurance companies will spend a fortune on marketing and advertising. They rely on that. Almost half your premium that you pay to a typical insurer goes to next month's marketing budget. Right? It is the biggest line item in your managed accounts. At DuePoint, because we don't spend a cent on marketing and advertising, and because we depend on you, that's the collaboration, on you going out and building our brand, our name out in South Africa, we will pay you for that. And we pay out in the form of what we call our returns and our rewards program. So those are the 2 ways to benefit here as a wealth engineer, and that's what we're going to discuss now. Primarily, the most important is the returns program. That's the income that you generate for yourself every month. The mechanics of that looks like this. So we pay out a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that you have in your channel. So remember the slide with all the dots on? Imagine getting paid for every single dot every single month. All right, so that's typically how it works, but it depends on where the product lies in relation to you. So your first point is all the people that you personally introduce successfully to DuePoint, right? So that product lies on what we call your first point, and actually you get paid double the R27.50. So you're getting paid R55 every month for every product on your first point. Then those people go out and connect other people. That product lies on your second point. And again, you get paid R55 for every product every month because it's recurring income. And then as your channel starts to grow and grow and grow, the product gets further away from you. The multiplier drops steadily all the way down to 0.8. So at 0.8, you're earning 4% of the R27.50, but we don't limit you there. Right, we've got wealth engineers beyond 0.30 already in the space of 2 years. You will build your channel. Whether you even like it or not, your channel will increase in size. We don't stop paying at 0.8. From 0.8 to infinity, you will keep earning the 4% on that size of your channel. So there's no limitation on the size of your channel. There's no limitation on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. Right? So that's the mechanics of the returns. This is how we work out what we're paying everybody. The typical question that people want answered is, well, how much money can I earn? If I invest a certain amount of time, or how much do people earn? I need to gather an idea of whether my time is going to be worth it, right? Which is a fair enough question. So we built a path to success. It is a projection over the next 5 years. So it's a 5-year plan. It's based on a certain amount of activity. That activity is, we assume that you can bring 3 people into your business in the first month, right? So 3 in August, and then every consecutive month thereafter, you keep bringing 2 new people into the business. So we call it the 3+2 growth formula. If you can follow that activity, after 6 months, you'll be close to about R2,500. Right? Now, this is typically where we illustrate the difference between income generation and wealth generation and the behavior of human beings. Because I'll often ask the audience, how long would they have money in their wallets for if I gave them free money tonight? So imagine I gave each one of you R2,500 cash, right? And you put it into your wallet, your back pocket. How long would it last? It's Wednesday night. Is it going to last till Friday? Maybe it'll last till Sunday. Just an assumption on my part. I know I'll spend it pretty quickly because I know I've had money in my wallet many times and I've thought I've lost it or someone took it out. Meantime, I actually spent it on something without knowing. Right, and that is exactly how consumers think. Our economy's success is based on consumerism, unfortunately. Unfortunately, at the same time, consumerism is typically what leads us into a lot of financial trouble later on. The difference between a consumer and someone who's focused on wealth creation is the consumer will give money its spending value, right? Face value of money. Someone who's trying to invest or create wealth will look at money and say, I can make more money out the money that I have, right? It requires a difference in activity. And the difference for people that are in debt is that you put money into your debt more than you have to, right? Because the faster you pay your debt off, the less interest you pay. And here's a massive example, even though it sounds like a cheap house, a R1 million apartment, right? I don't think you can even get a R1 million apartment in Bryanston, but a R1 million apartment, right? You'll bond that because you don't have R1 million cash. The bank will give you the money at prime +2. You're paying about 11,500 Rand a month, and you're expected to pay that for the next 20 years before you become an owner of that property for the first time in your life. So in my case, I'm 40. I become a homeowner when I'm 60, right? That's a nice retirement present for myself. So that's how it works. But I joined DuePoint 6 months later with some activity. I'm earning 2,500 Rand. I now have the option to spend that money, and you can spend 2,500 Rand like that, or I can put it into my bond. I can decide to try to get rid of my debt a little faster. Putting 20% extra into your bond will reduce your bond by nearly 50%. In this case, instead of taking 20 years, you'll take 11.5 years to pay off your bond. It saves you in the process just under 900,000 Rand in interest payments you would have made to the bank with little 2,500 Rand. Right? This is something we have to think about. We weren't taught this stuff at school, unfortunately. I don't know why, because they want consumers in the economy, right? At month 12, you're earning close to 9,000 Rand a month. That's in excess of 100,000 Rand every year in recurring income. Right? And if you keep with the activity, 3 + 2, you get to the position where after 24 months, you're going to be close to 30,000 Rand a month. And if you keep going, at 36 months, you'll be close to 50,000 Rand. Another example of paying a bond off faster, because a bond will be one of the biggest expenses you have in your life, right? If you bond anything over 20 years, or if you finance anything over 20 years, you're typically paying back 2.5 times the value of that asset. So in this case, he has a 5 million Rand bond because by month 30, you're a high flyer, you've got a big house. If you decide to take that 36,000 Rand and put it into a 5 million Rand bond as an additional payment, you'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. Right? And then you're in the position where you can start creating wealth through the ownership of assets. Now you can go buy a second property, a third property. So in 21 years, you could buy 3 properties. You've got to live in the one, but the other 2 you could be renting out. 5 million Rand house, I asked one of the real estate agents, they said at least 50,000 Rand a month. So now you've got 2 properties. You're earning 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income that appreciates with the property and inflation every single year. In 20 years' time, you go home to a house you paid off 14 years ago, you've got rental property income coming in, as well as what DuePoint's paying you in 20 years' time. We have to make this boring decision of getting rid of our debt 20 years before we get to enjoy the fruits of that decision. For me, weakness again, I'd much rather buy a Porsche than pay a bond off faster, to be personally frank, right? And that is the decision we're constantly faced with, at least I am. At month 48, you are close to 70,000 Rand a month, and 60 months, 5 years from today, you could be close to 85,000 Rand, just under R1 million in annual recurring income. Now imagine picking up a R1 million check bonus every single year in December. How that changes your life. No one seems too convinced. The number has probably got too big, right? When the number gets too big, your belief system goes, I don't believe I can earn 100,000 Rand on the side over and above my day job. Right? But how awesome would it be when you get to a position where your part-time, your flexi-time job is paying more than your full-time job? That's going to be an exciting day. It liberates you to tell your boss what you really think about him or her. That would be a good day too, don't you think? My boss is not here. Maybe he's watching. But this is academic, so I'll admit this is theory, complicated theory, because we take a lot of conditions and different variables when we came up with a projection. But we've got wealth engineers that are doing this. We've got thousands of them, and we will bring the ones in that show persistence. We don't bring the ones in that quit, right? The ones that keep enduring, whether they are the superstars in the business or not, whether they have just started. We have a whole range of wealth engineers that we bring up every single month, and you're free to go watch those testimonies on YouTube. And last night we had our Tell Tuesday, so these are brand new wealth engineers that we brought up. Renee and Henny, they're from down in Meyerton, They have been in the business for 6 months. They are ranked 2. That'll make a little more sense to you when I talk about the rewards program. But they are currently on 1,600 Rand a month. Just to give you the value of money from a wealth point of view, to earn 1,600 Rand in interest off of a balance that you have in an account that returns 5% to you annually, you would need nearly 400,000 Rand sitting in a bank account. Right? Stop making the mistake of looking at money and going, 1,600 Rand, I can only buy one Woolworths shopping bag at Woolworths. I hope Woolworths not watching. They'll sue me for slander. Right? Understand the value of money because it's recurring income that we're producing here. So in terms of their personal activity, over the 6 months, they've introduced 14 people to the business. That is translated to 33 products in their channel. See, that's the power duplication, the leverage that exists. And they have great aspirations of getting to 1,000 products, because there's 1,000 products, we will take them and their family, so their kids, to our international conference every year, which is a 5-star luxury first-class trip for 7 days every single year for the rest of their lives. Right? So they are still far away, but that's the aspiration they have. That's the goal that they have, and they have a plan to get there. Then we've got a couple of actual rank 9. So these are guys that have already surpassed 1,000 products in their business, right? So let's take a look at what that's looked like. So Donnie van Wyk, it took him 16 months to get to 1,200 products. He jumped straight through that 1,000 barrier, straight to 1,200 in a single month. In his first month, he introduced 1 person to the business. On average, he's been introducing 5 people a month into the business. And after 16 months, he had 13 people on his channel that were earning money. So he had helped 13 different people start earning money in his business. So that's what it looks like. So Donnie was one of the first wealth engineers to come with us. If you go watch his testimony, he shares a lot of what his day looks like so that you can get a very practical understanding of what's required to get 5 people to join your business every single month. Then we've got Patrick and Pumi. They did it in 11 months, and they also smashed through. They were at, I think, close to 800 products in month 10. They went from 800 to 1,387 products in 1 month. 500 products grew in their business in 30 days. Right? That is leverage. That's the power duplication again. So in their first month, they introduced 14 people in their first month. On average, they've been growing at 8 people on their first point every month. And same as Donnie, they had 13 people on their first point that were earning money in their business already. And again, you can go watch their testimony and check it out. Everybody is different. You need to decide what you want out of this business. Everyone is running a different race. So these are snapshots from all the Tell All Tuesdays we've done over the past. It hasn't been updated in a while. But my point is, everyone is running a different race. Don't compare yourself to everybody else. Decide what you want. It is one of the true liberties that you have, is to decide what you want out of life. As much as your boss says you can't have what you want, I'm saying in this business, you can decide what you want out of this business, right? So for me, it is so important for not the decision only to be about what you want, but what is the plan to get there. Because practically, if you're going to consider this business and you're not going to treat it as a hobby or a New Year's resolution, you have to decide how you're going to fit DuePoint into your life. Are you going to be here every Wednesday evening with guests? Is it something you can do on the weekends? Can you do it at lunchtime? Right? The technology that we've put in place affords you the opportunity to do the business at any time. Right? That, for me, is the decision that you need to make. Joining is very easy. It takes about 7 minutes to become a wealth engineer. You fill out our application form on the mobile app. The person will have the mobile app that introduced you to the business, or you can go onto our website and do it there. But it's pretty much a non-event. You'll get your unique wealth engineer number and a password to access the dashboard. But once you do that, apply yourself to this business. So go watch some videos. Go watch the training. Set goals for yourself. Where do you want to be in a year's time? Where do you want to be in December? That's a good goal to work towards, right? I know everyone else is they're on the downhill slope because the weather's getting warmer. You're breaking up with your boyfriend and girlfriend because it's springtime and it's time to get out there again, and you think the holidays have started. We still have a lot of opportunity to make 2018 significantly different to any year that has preceded it. So there's lots of time. So what is your goal? You have to have a goal with a deadline to prepare a plan. If you don't have a goal, there's no plan. Doesn't matter what you say to me. Prepare the plan to get to the goal, and the plan always distills down to a single metric that we care about. There's only one number that we care about in this business. How many people do you need to speak to reach your goal? Right? You will start to understand the ratio. You might have to speak to 5 people to get 2 to join every month. You need to maybe speak to 10 people to get 4 to join every month. You will understand what that ratio is very quickly when you start doing the business. Right? So that is how you get started. Consider getting merchandise. I've worked in advertising for a very long time. Any transaction requires trust. Any transaction. Whether you're trying to get someone to go on a date with you, whether you're trying to buy a house or something, whether you're looking at a business proposition, if trust is not involved in the transaction, it's not going to happen. This builds a picture of trust. Because if someone sits down and they look like they take the business that they're proposing seriously, right? They dress properly, they speak properly, they've got business cards, that connection will happen successfully. More so than if you just arrived like a, who knows what, proposing a business that you supposedly believe in, and then you've got to tear the corner of your diary off to give the person the name and number, right? Get the business cards. We can send them anywhere in the country. Join our Facebook page. So lots of stuff happening on Facebook. If you want your finger on the pulse here at DuePoint, it happens on that Facebook page. Our YouTube channel, all our videos. It is the live broadcast that happens 8 times a week globally. And then make sure you download the mobile app once you become a wealth engineer, because that is your business in the palm of your hand. We've got a development seminar on Saturday called How to Hack Success, right? Because everyone loves a good shortcut to success. Reverse engineer it, and there are. You can, if you read a couple of books on leadership, on business, on that type of stuff, you will see that there are lots of people that have come before us that try hack success. They go look at people that have been very successful as entrepreneurs, and they try to understand what it takes to be successful. And we're going to be discussing a couple of principles, practical issues around getting up the mountain as fast as possible in the shortest possible route, right? There are many ways to get up the mountain. Take the easiest route, the fastest route, and that's what we're going to be discussing on Saturday. So 9 a.m. on Saturday. If you can't make it to the head office, tune into the live stream, or the video will be available on YouTube straight afterwards. Then on to our rewards program. So the rewards program is the cherry on top here at DuePoint. It's not as important as the recurring income, but it is very attractive. It's got a lot of shiny, nice things involved, and we seem to get quite distracted by the rewards program rather than the money that we earn every month. So the rewards program works like this. When you become a wealth engineer, you will start earning something called XP. It stands for experience points, right? Anything that you do as a wealth engineer earns you XP. And as your channel starts to grow, there are rewards waiting for you, right? So if you start out this evening, you'll start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. You're not even on the slide. But to get onto the slide, to get to rank 1, you need 1,000 XP. That takes 20 seconds. You need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you meet those 2 criteria, you become rank 1. And a rank 1 gets a once-off 55 Rand at the end of the month. All right? But then, as you start to collect more XP and your channel starts to grow, you start to rank up, and the rewards get much bigger and better. You can see there are big checks waiting for you. There are tools that we give our wealth engineers to make them more effective in their connecting. We've got very fancy business cards that cost us 12,500 Rand to manufacture for 1 set that you get. Again, a picture of credibility. You sit down at a table, you put down a 12,500 Rand business card. I promise you people take notice, right? They will listen to you a little more clearly when you tell them about DuePoint. And then at rank 9, so this is what our month campaign has all been about, the road to rank 9. Rank 9 is this international conference that we take you and your family on. It is business class flights to an international 5-star resort. It's 7 days away, all expenses paid trip. When I mean all expenses, I mean all expenses. All expenses. You can clear out your mini bar every single night. They'll restock it in the morning for you. Right? You never get to do that. I've got 2 kids. I put do not cross this line tape over the mini bar when we go to hotels. You don't have to worry about that in this case. So take a look. We documented last December's trip. You might recognize some of the wealth engineers, Dani at least, and Patrick and Pumi. Thanks, Pat.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've withdrawn, have sunk to the ocean sand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that's rank 9. That you get to enjoy every single year for the rest of your life, as long as you're above 1,000 products. Like I said, we're running a campaign currently called the Road to Rank 9, because the next Rank 9 trip is around the corner. Join our Facebook page. You'll see the campaign there, and if you participate in that, you can win 2,000 Rand. So there'll be 10 wealth engineers that win 2,000 Rand by the end of this month. So go take a look at that. And then at rank 11, we buy you a brand new car, cash. So we spend about $250,000 Rand on a brand new car. You can contribute that to a new Ferrari. You decide how you want to spend that 250,000 Rand. But it's basically you having the opportunity to drive around in a car that has absolutely no debt on it. So that happens at rank 11 with wealth engineers that have done that in less than 2 years. So you might feel like you've hit the jackpot by rank 11, but I'm telling you, you're only getting warmed up in this business. There is a massive amount of potential that's yet to come. It is all about time and persistence, right? We can't rush the time. So this is what the rewards program looks like. We go up to rank 28. That's how far we've designed it. We suspect that's about 25 years of doing this business before we have to start looking at rank 29, 30. So really the decision is are you willing to invest time in this business? We've designed it purposely to be low risk so that you can at least try it, right? So my invitation to you is come join us at DuePoint. You've got all the support in the world. It's a wonderful business that gets to actually collaborate together, whereas in the workplace it can feel quite competitive at times. And I want to see wealth engineers do well, be happy, make money out of this business. They already are. I would like to see more people doing it. And so that is my invitation to you. Make the next 3 months of what's left of the year count, right? And I get especially excited when I see younger people in the audience, because I know if I'd got involved in this business 20 years ago, where I would be today. I didn't have that opportunity, right? My father warned me. He said, get involved in business that makes money while you're sleeping. He should have explained himself a bit better, so I blame him. But take advantage of it. It is not something that requires a lot of time. right? I don't romanticize DuePoint, right? I'm an entrepreneur at heart. So I like to get excited about things that I come up with, ideas that I come up with, but this can certainly create leverage for you. Because if you've got a business in the background that's making you money, it affords you many other opportunities to pursue interests that you have passion for. So that is my invitation to you. If you have any questions, come speak to me afterwards. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you.